Hello, in this video I want to introduce components Figma and just talk about the basics. So components are elements that we can reuse in our design. And not only reuse them, but we can make changes to the color and the content of the text. So components start as frames. So we'll make a frame here and we'll make it 1280. We'll apply our grid to this. We'll just do something super simple. Okay, so to turn this into a component, we right click and we do create component. It makes this little diamond icon here. And so now when I alt and drag, it makes an instance. And you can tell it's an instance because this still has this diamond shape, but it's empty on the inside. And basically how this works is when I make a change over here, that change will be reflected down there. However, we can add overrides. So for example, I can make this a different color. And when I move this, that still updates, right? I can also make this a different type size. And now the position still updates. But once we apply an override, that override won't be inherited from the parent anymore. So to get back to that, I can right click on this and I can say reset all changes. And now it goes back to the original state. We can also have components nested within other components. For example, if I call this the header, I can make another component that will have the nav items. I'll just do this over here. And we'll say work. And I will shrink this to the content. About contact is little. Then I can frame this, or I can go straight to create component, which is very similar to a frame. We can call this nav, and I can alt drag my nav into here. So for example, if we wanted to have the nav appear in multiple spots, like let's say in the footer or the header, you could have a nested component. Once again, like when I update this, it will be reflected over here in this, in its instances. Okay, so let's keep going. Make another one, another component. Okay, and so here we have another layout, and I'll add some more variation to this. Give this some rounded corners to make this a circle. And we'll call this left text. And I can alt drag to create an instance. And so we can override more than just the type size and the color. We can override the attributes of our shapes. So I can turn off the round corners. Now I can give these names. We can also change the fills of objects as well. So if I grab photo real quick, and paste them in here. And I'm going to alt copy and go in here and paste. Now the content changes as well, right? So I can still alter the layout and the kind of the skeleton of this while having it be more specific in other states. If we want to remove a component, what we need to do is I'll make an instance over here. I'm going to detach the instance, and then if I delete the original, now this is basically that same layout without being in a component state. And so let's just add one more of these. So just add like a little reverse of this one. The other side. Name this. This makes sense. More sense. Just leaf. This one can be industrial signage. Okay. So the original, kind of the skeleton, and then we can add override so we can reuse this section throughout our site and change the photo, change the color, so on and so forth. We can also reset back to the original if we want. And so on and so forth. And where components get really handy is when we start combining them with auto layouts, which we'll do in the next video.